Address it once and only once for the whole gang, right? Alright, let's run it back. I'm gonna say this one time, and one time only for all of you watching. Bro, during my entire turn, I handled everything exactly how I was supposed to. I moved right, talked right, played my role. But the internet? It was absolutely not prepared for the level of chaos that was about to drop. 1 second, people were lazily scrolling through their feeds, pretending to work, faking productivity. The next second, boom. Chrisean pops up out of nowhere and starts spilling prison tea about Blueface. Not just mild gossip. This was wild, unfiltered, maximum drama type information. The kind of story that would make Netflix writers pause their keyboards like, wait, we didn't come up with this plot. The minute her words hit social media, timelines didn't just blow up, they disintegrated. Feeds vanished under the weight of the drama. Fans were sprinting into the comments. Bloggers were practically drooling, and even people who can't stand Blueface were sitting there like, there's no way this is actually real, right? And what she hinted at, that wasn't just tea, that was boiling lava straight from the pot. Pour dash it dash out dash on dash the dash floor dash and dash watch dash it dash sizzle type drama. She started talking about what really went down behind those prison walls. And the energy was so intense it felt like the algorithm needed CPR. It sounded like a stolen chapter from the Book of Chaos, narrated by someone who refuses to lower their voice even if the cops are standing 2 steps away. And the fans? They were locked in, eyes glued to their screens like their eyeballs were stuck with magnets. Because if you thought Blueface's life was messy outside of prison, just wait until you hear what Chrisean says happened inside. But here's the thing. The chaos didn't actually start. When she opened her mouth, it started the second she looked like she was about to expose something. Anybody who knows Chrisean knows that look. The eyes get wide. She pauses mid-sentence, takes a long, dramatic breath, like she's scrolling through every toxic memory from the last 3 years, and deciding whether to drop it like a surprise mixtape for the internet. The second she went live, the fans swarmed the chat like soldiers gearing up for a battle. People were typing before she even spoke, spamming messages like, "What happened in there? Tell us. Tell us." As if she was about to leak top-secret classified government files. And honestly, in her own way, she did. Chrisean-level classified. She started off by saying she was done holding back, which is hilarious, because if there's one person on Earth who's never held back a single emotion, thought, punch, or insult, it's Chrisean Rock. But this time, her voice was different. It wasn't goofy or petty. It was heavy, dark, that kind of serious tone that screams, Blueface is somewhere punching the air right now. She leaned forward into the camera and gave that, "Let me tell y'all what really happened" stare. And the entire chat stopped breathing. The suspense was so thick you could slice it into cubes and serve it at a dinner party. Even people who absolutely hate Chrisean were sitting there quiet, like kids stuck in detention, waiting to see who gets called out first. Then she started breaking down Blueface's behavior behind bars. Not the public image stuff. No mugshots, no court clips, none of the sanitized footage. She said there was a whole second layer of prison drama the outside world had never seen. According to her, Blueface wasn't just locked up. He was beefing with almost everyone. She said his mouth was doing the absolute most, which surprised exactly 0 human beings because Blueface talks like he gets paid for every argument he starts. She described him going back and forth with inmates, debating guards, poking at the wrong people at the wrong time, basically walking around like he was starring in Zeus Network, Prison Edition. The way she told it, Blueface walked into prison like the main character in a show nobody asked for. She claimed he'd talk slick to dudes twice his size, 3 times more angry, and 4 times more bored than him. One moment he's boasting, the next he's starting beef, and then suddenly he's giving motivational speeches nobody requested, like a bootleg life coach with anger issues. But here's the thing about prison. Prison doesn't care if you went platinum. Prison doesn't care if your song went viral. Prison doesn't care if your name trends on Twitter. To that system, you're not Blueface the rapper. You're just another man in a jumpsuit. And Chrisean made it clear that Blueface had a hard time accepting that reality. Fans listening were dying in the comments. Stuff like, "Blueface, please sit down. This man is literally allergic to peace." He think Prison got a live studio audience. The chat flooded with jokes. Meanwhile, Chrisean kept going, saying Blueface's ego was the size of a moving truck. And the funny part? She said it with love, like she knows he's a disaster, but she's still defending him while dragging him. Classic Chrisean behavior. Then she broke down what really lit the fuse. According to her, the main problem started because Blueface decided he was going to act like a full-blown celebrity in a place where nobody cares about celebrities. She said he walked around like he was hosting a meet and greet, cracking jokes, clowning people, dropping sarcastic comments at the wrong times. She swore he carried himself like he was filming a vlog instead of serving time. That's when things shifted, because apparently his jokes weren't hitting at all. Instead of laughs, they were getting tight jaws and squinted eyes. She hinted that multiple inmates got annoyed. The kind of annoyed that ends with someone saying, "Stop playing with me," in a way that's not a joke anymore. At one point, Chrisean said Blueface made some slick comment that rubbed an entire group the wrong way. She refused to repeat his exact words. Probably because even she knows the internet doesn't need extra gasoline, but she described it as something smart, unnecessary, and very on-brand for Blueface. That comment set off a chain reaction. Suddenly people were checking him, testing him, stepping up to see what he was about. Not by throwing punches, but by applying pressure. Eye contact, energy, subtle threats. Psychological warfare. Chrisean made it sound like Blueface got hit with a reality check way harder than any punch he's ever dodged. And she said of course he didn't back down. Because why would he? Blueface backing down? That's the funniest part of the whole story. She said he stayed in it, arguing back, refusing to fold, and matching energy he should have walked away from. She described him pacing around his cell afterward, talking to himself, getting hyped up like he was rehearsing for a rap battle nobody booked. She claimed he'd be in his head like, "Nah, Blueface, these dudes got me messed up." Meanwhile, the other inmates? Watching him like he was live entertainment. The tension got so thick, she said guards had to step in more than once just to tell him to calm down. Fans in the comments were dropping skull emojis like confetti. This man is physically incapable of chilling. He really thinks he's on a Zeus reunion 24/7. Chrisean tried to stay serious while telling it, but even she started laughing midway because she knew he created some of the chaos he was trapped in. But then her mood switched again, the tone that says, "Alright, now here comes the serious part." She said the real issue wasn't just what Blueface was saying, it was who he was saying it around. She hinted there was a group inside the prison that didn't like his behavior. Not the type of guys who argue for fun or do drama for jokes. These were men with rules, a code, a structure, and Blueface, he stomped all over that code like stepping on a Lego barefoot. According to Chrisean, he kept trying to joke with people who don't joke. The more he talked, the more the irritation spread. Eventually, word started circling around the prison. Blueface doing too much. And when your name starts traveling in that environment, it stops being funny. It becomes dangerous. She said he got checked hard. Not physically, but verbally and mentally. He got humbled. And apparently, he did not see it coming. Fans listening were shook. They started typing long paragraphs like, "Damn, so he really got humbled by prison politics. This actually makes sense, he always talking crazy." Chrisean went on, saying Blueface eventually had to fall back, keep his head down, stop arguing with everybody, just to avoid making things worse. She painted it like he learned quick. Prison is not the place for Zeus-level reality TV energy. She said the pressure got to him, that he couldn't sleep right, couldn't relax, couldn't take a breath without feeling like someone was watching or sizing him up. Even if nobody touched him, the air itself was heavy enough to crack his usual bravado. For the first time in his life, according to her, Blueface wasn't the loudest one in the room. And just when fans thought Chrisean was done, she said, "The real secret is still coming." The second she dropped that line, the internet went from chaotic to apocalyptic. Comments flew in like missiles. "Girl, do not stop now. Say it before he logs on," and pulls the plug on the Wi-Fi. Others who swore they didn't care were suddenly locked in like they were watching the season finale of their favorite show. That's Chrisean's power. Doesn't just spill tea, she dumps the whole pot over the timeline. She paused dramatically, of course. Then she started explaining how it wasn't just inmates who got annoyed with Blueface. Some of the guards were sick of him too. She said he acted like every question from staff was an interview. Cracking jokes, being sarcastic, giving sideways answers. Exactly the kind of energy that makes guards want to humble your whole attitude. According to her, one guard even pulled him aside and told him straight up, "This ain't Instagram live. Relax." The fans went wild. That one line summed up what the entire internet has been saying for years. But then things got darker. She hinted that Blueface ended up tangled in a prison feud nobody outside knew about. Not a full-blown fight, but a simmering conflict that started because he couldn't let anything slide. She said it started small, a joke made at his expense. Instead of shrugging it off, he fired back with a petty jab that would have been fine on TikTok. But this wasn't TikTok. These weren't comment section trolls. These were men with pride, territory, and reputations. When he snapped, "I don't play that sh*t," that turned a spark into a wildfire. From there, she said everything changed. People started watching him differently, studying him, testing him. He'd walk around feeling eyes on him from every direction. Guys bumping his shoulder, staring him down, talking about him just loud enough for him to hear. He wasn't physically touched, but he was definitely targeted. The mental pressure climbed fast. Even fans admitted in the comments, "Yeah, Blueface might handle fighting, but this mind game stuff? He not built for that." Then she dropped the bomb that nearly broke the internet. She said Blueface tried to prove himself. She described him like a man desperate to keep his pride intact in a place where pride doesn't impress anyone. He started trying harder, acting tougher, louder, more dominant, like he was putting on a show for people who didn't find him entertaining at all. One time, she claimed, he started rapping loud in his cell after an argument, trying to intimidate the same people who had checked him earlier. But the way she told it, it sounded less like intimidation, and more like a man trying to convince himself he wasn't scared. Fans joked in the comments. He really thought his life was a music video. Not him rapping to defend his honor, please. But then she revealed something even wilder. Social media made everything worse for him inside. Once the blog started posting non-stop about his case, his drama with Chrisean, and his outside mess, inmates began seeing those updates. Some already recognized him. Others only knew him from going viral. But now, everybody knew who he was. Chrisean said that once his name started trending, the energy shifted. People began testing him not because they hated him, but because he was famous. She said he hated when guys walked up to him like, "Ain't you that dude that got jumped?" Or, "Ain't that the girl who was wildin' out on live?" Some would bring up Chrisean on purpose just to see what happened. And if there's one thing Blueface absolutely cannot do, it's ignore a comment about Chrisean Rock. She said he would instantly get heated, shouting back like he forgot he was locked up with men who enjoy poking at emotional weak spots. Then she dropped a detail nobody saw coming. Blueface's celebrity ego cracked. She claimed that after one particularly tense exchange with someone he should have never argued with, he went back to his bunk, sat down. No more yelling, no more rapping, no gestures, just silence. He sat there, realizing he was not in control anymore. That this wasn't his environment, that it wasn't his stage. She said later he admitted to someone, "This ain't my environment." Fans reacted with a mix of, "Well, finally, and so now he gets it." Memes started instantly. Blueface realizing Zeus can't save him in there. When your famous persona expires at cell block C. Blueface baby, yeah, not in here you not. But then came one of the biggest twists. Chrisean explained that Blueface didn't survive all this alone. According to her, someone on the inside, maybe a group, maybe a specific person, actually started looking out for him. She didn't say exactly why. Maybe they liked his music, maybe they respected his confidence, maybe they just found him entertaining. But someone stepped in at just the right moment and kept the situation from turning into something physical that sent fans' imaginations into full overdrive. They started theorizing. A former fan? Somebody from a gang who liked his songs? An inmate that hates Chrisean more than him? The theories were insane. Then Chrisean dropped another piece. There was a moment, she said, when Blueface got cornered, not with fists but with words, by a group asking him to check in. And he froze. Not for long, not like a dramatic movie scene, but long enough to show hesitation. And in prison politics, that pause can mean everything. She said someone else stepped in right then and diffused the situation. Not to save him because he was weak, but because that kind of standoff can spiral fast. One wrong tone, one wrong move, one wrong sentence. The internet lost its mind. He almost got pressed. This man's tough guy brand is on life support. Even his own fans were like, "Loki, this explains a lot." But Chrisean wasn't clowning him. She was exposing him emotionally. Harsh but protective. She made it clear. He wasn't jumped. He wasn't beaten. He wasn't destroyed. But he was humbled. He was overwhelmed. He was in over his head. She called it a wake-up call he desperately needed, but absolutely did not want. And the craziest twist? The real secret, she teased, wasn't about what he did. It was about what someone else told her. She said an inmate, someone who watched Blueface from a distance, hit her up after Blueface got moved. According to her, this guy had been observing him like a reality series. He allegedly told her, "Your dude lucky. He run his mouth too much, but he lucky." She asked what he meant, and that's when he told her how close Blueface came to getting dragged into a situation way deeper than he understood. Not a beating, not a stabbing, but prison politics he had no clue about. The inmate said Blueface had accidentally walked straight into a tension-filled area one day, something brewing between two groups. Blueface thought he was just moving around normally, being loud, being himself. But because he was recognizable and argumentative, some people thought he was choosing sides. He wasn't. He was just clueless in the middle of a storm he didn't see. The inmate said if Blueface had said one wrong thing in that moment, he wouldn't have been physically attacked, but he would have gotten sucked into someone else's war. Fans went crazy. Not him walking into drama like it's a buffet. Bro almost got signed up to a conflict he didn't apply for. Blueface accidentally standing in a gang meeting is so on brand. The inmate supposedly told her, "Your dude got heart, but he don't know the rules." That line hit the hardest. Because it wasn't an insult, it was the truth. Blueface is used to chaos with cameras, to clout wars, to public arguments and viral moments. But prison plays by a different rulebook. No likes, no retweets, no followers. And the more Chrisean talked, the more fans realized. Blueface walked into that place playing the wrong game. She said that hearing all of this shook her. She finally understood why he sounded different on certain calls. Why he seemed stressed and distant sometimes. According to her, he wasn't scared. He was overloaded. An overwhelmed Blueface is a version the public has never really seen. The guy who usually walks into every room like he owns it suddenly found himself somewhere his status meant nothing. His opinions had no value. His ego had no currency. By the time he got out, Chrisean said he wasn't trying to be the loudest voice anymore. He wasn't cracking jokes with everyone. He wasn't looking for arguments just to feel alive. She said he learned how to move quietly. Watch. Listen. Avoid unnecessary smoke. Some fans were stunned. Others were like, good. He needed that humility lesson. But everyone agreed. This was a side of Blueface they never expected to hear about. Chrisean claimed that after his release, he told her something his ego would never let him admit online. "I ain't never going back in there. That place different." It wasn't fear talking. It was realization. He finally understood. Prison isn't a storyline. It's not a flex. It's not a backdrop for clout. It's a system designed to chew up people who can't, or won't, adapt. And Blueface? He barely made it through without stepping into something that could have changed his life forever. Fans reacted the only way the internet knows how. Half serious, half jokes. Blueface went in a comedian and came out a philosopher. Not him gaining emotional maturity in prison. Character development unlocked. But that was only one side of it. Because when he found out she exposed all of this, Blueface was heated. Not in a throwing hands way. In a Blueface way, petty, sarcastic, confused. Chrisean said he asked her, "Why you tell them everything?" And she replied in pure Chrisean fashion, because they needed to know. He accused her of overdoing it. She said she didn't. He claimed she added spice. She claimed he left out truths. Then she reminded him, if she didn't explain it, the internet would invent something way worse on its own. And that part, she wasn't wrong. Right when things were already messy, Blueface's mom, Carlisa, the chaos queen herself, jumped online like, "Ain't nothing happened to my son in there." And just like that, a new fire started. Fans argued over who was telling the truth. Some sided with Chrisean. She was actually emotionally there for him. Others dragged Carlisa. Here she go again playing Mother of the Year on Live. Blogs ate it all up. Titles like, "Who's lying, Chrisean or the family? Did Blueface really get humbled in prison?" Meanwhile, the story was spreading to other celebrities. Rappers were dropping laughing emojis. Influencers were making skits about Blueface in prison. Memes comparing interview Blueface versus prison Blueface flooded timelines. One viral meme showed split pictures. On one side, Blueface yelling. On the other, Blueface sitting in silence like a monk who's seen some things. Through it all, Chrisean stood her ground. She said she told the story because people needed to understand that fame doesn't protect you from reality. That prison is not some prop location for your image. She said Blueface needed to stop acting like he went through it untouched. Because according to her, he was definitely touched, just not with fists. With pressure. With reality. By the time she ended her live, this wasn't just gossip anymore. It had turned into a full-blown narrative about ego, pride, fear, humiliation, survival, and how different real life is from the internet. And whether Blueface liked it or not, his image would never be the same. Because after hearing her side, fans didn't just see Blueface the troll anymore. They saw someone who cracked, adjusted, and came out changed. And the wildest part? According to Chrisean, that wasn't even everything. There are pieces she's still keeping to herself. So if